parking lot. The New Jersey Transit was full, the trains were all full.
A couple of them I pulled on the road, and I came here, I was home, and 287 going to work
Yeah.
was bumper to bumper. I mean, I went on to,
Yeah.
but I couldn't get out of 287. I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, I thought today would be a day at a minimum. People like, you know what, it's a short week, so I'm just gonna work all day. It was bad. I went through, you're into Ryan Carter,
Yeah.
you know, Christmas stuff. I don't know what reason I was walking with it. Like this. So I just went this with walls. Yeah, 4 o'clock. I drive to British home. The train. Because no, it's not worth it.
John, ready? Good evening and welcome to the November 26, 2024 meeting of the Borough Governing Body. Adequate notice of this meeting is provided in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act at the date, time, and location of the meeting, including the annual schedule, posted on the public bulletin board in the municipal building, and filed in the office of the borough clerk. For those attending tonight's meeting via Zoom, the agenda and any other relevant documents can be found on the borough's website attached to the meeting notice posted in the news and announcement section. During the meeting, announcement made prior to the 2 public comment periods. Anyone wishing to make a public comment via computer will be instructed to use the raise your hand icon, and anyone wishing to make a public comment via telephone will be instructed to dial *9 at the appropriate time.
For those in attendance in person or remotely, please provide your name and address when selected. If you are eligible for your law, please just announce your name. Mr. Watkins, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Spango.
Present.
Mr. Barty.
Here.
Mr. Bryant. Mrs. Fishman. Mr. Goldstein.
Here.
Mrs. Parati.
Here.
Mr. Trillo.
Please rise for the flag salute. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First on our agenda is public comment. Any member of the public which will be heard, come forward, state your name and address for the record. If you're with us telephonically, press *9, and if you're with us via Zoom, use the raise your hand icon. If you're eligible for Daniel's Law, please just state that as a comment.
Hello, my name is Michael Lepre, 24 Lincoln Street. Bear with me, this is the first time I'm speaking here in front of the council. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
This is nothing personal, but I'd like to make a statement. And first of all, they're cutting down trees on my street, Lincoln Street, right? And the sidewalks, are they redoing the sidewalks for free? Or are they just cutting the trees down?
If they damage the sidewalks from the tree cutting, I assume they would be replacing them, but I don't think they're replacing any sidewalks.
Okay, good. Because I heard that they might be replacing them for free, and I just did my sidewalks.
Not to my knowledge,
so-
in this.
Okay, good. Thank you. Well, not good, but you know. But anyway, so I'd like to make a statement. I'm here representing a group of residents on Lincoln Street who are against the proposal of installing speed tables on our street in a recent vote we had. First of all, I want to make it clear the people on that street are totally worried about all the children, adults, and pets on our street. It's ridiculous to think any other way. However, we feel it's more dangerous to have these obstructions than not. The way we voted through emails was such a sham and a hokey voting process. The proof is in the emails. There were only 15 houses voted out of 25. One house tried to vote 3 times. There were 8 yes to install and 7 no's. We missed the tie by 1 vote. We only agreed with this process for 2 reasons. 1, we thought all residents on Lincoln Street were voting, and 2, we didn't want to cause a confrontation with our neighbors. At this point, we think it's unfair, and we don't accept the ruling or agree with the voting process. That's us. In hindsight, why isn't the governing body included in this decision? The mayor and the council should be the main proponent. The town needs to do a full-scale survey. I feel the governing body is passing the buck. I don't, nothing personal. But if there is an issue with or without the speed tables, who will take responsibility? A neighbor who voted yes or no? Why are the residents on the streets deciding the fate of our street, especially when it's being paid by the town? I think all of Roseland should be aware of the project. This is not a need, it's a want by a few unaware homeowners. What I mean by unaware, why are we installing these obstructions when a few years ago they were installed and the town removed them? That's just my thought. Why were they removed? They were removed because it made our street worse. We are wasting taxpayers' money. I experienced these obstructions on Lincoln Street firsthand. I actually helped to have them installed years ago with my neighbors, and not only were they noisy, caused pollution, damaged cars, and made it unsafe with impatient drivers, the block regretted the decision. The town had them removed. The volume of cars on Lincoln Street is 10 times higher than any other street with speed tables. However, those streets don't have 18-wheelers, 4-ton trucks, and big landscaping trucks with trailers coming down every 30 minutes. When we had them installed, it did nothing to slow down the cars or deter the vehicles from our street. Not only has the volume increased in 2024, but it will continue to increase with the new housing. We need months to determine the volume of cars on our street, not a one-day count. By law in New Jersey, we have 3,000 cars. By law in New Jersey, if we have 3,000 cars traveling down Lincoln Street, it's against the law to install any speed tables. We can't decide defacing our street and causing havoc because of a few people unaware of the issues. The town must find a way to protect the residents on our street, but speed tables aren't the way. We've been down this road before, no pun intended. Why are we going down this road again? We want the town to do the correct survey and then have the town vote since it's affecting everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And actually, Beth is with me, so maybe. Thank you.
Elizabeth Phillips, I live at 29 Lincoln Street. I second every comment that Mike made. Mine are very specific questions to the council. I don't know if you want to take notes and you want to answer my 8 questions at the conclusion, or you just want to answer them as we go along. Because there was a hand-delivered letter from Boswell that they were starting to do work on the street, and they make reference to what appears to be a contract identifying number. So my question is, was a contract for these speed impediments awarded already? In other words, I'm not understanding the timing. We had a meeting recently, few months, not even, okay. So I'm amazed that a contract had been let that quickly for these speed tables. That's question number 1. Was there a contract let? If so, when? Thirdly, when was the RFP and RFP sent out? Or was it under the limit to require an RFP or RFP? If it was sent out with an RFP, how many contractors responded? And again, I'm gathering Boswell's doing this work. Were they the lowest bid? I mean, I believe in Jersey, you have to, whether you like it or not, take the lowest bid. And again, I second Mike's comment. This speed impediment project does not exist in isolation to only Lincoln Street houses and residents. And my question is, how have the remainder of the town residents been notified of such a project or been encouraged to participate in the decision making? I feel there are some people on this street who have a not in my backyard mentality. I don't want the traffic on my street. I think we can all agree the traffic in Roseland is a bit difficult on many streets. So to sit there and say not in my backyard is not a very neighborly mentality. So my question is, Has this been made public to the rest of the town of Roseland so that they can comment? Because I've heard people say, only out-of-towners drive across Lincoln. I know friends in town that drive across Lincoln, so I don't know where anyone comes up with that conclusion. Some of the deductive reasoning I've heard over the course of this debate boggles me. More importantly, has the council, the fire department, EMS, public works meaning snow removal, sanitation, leaf removal, police, and the school busing provider, all signed off and all stated this will have no impact on their services? Because if they did, I'd like to know when, that they've determined that it would have no impact. I'm hopeful that there's a traffic component to the town and the county master plan. I'm sorry, I didn't have time to look it up. Okay, and my question is, how does this project fit into the town's master plan that should be the traffic component? Or the Essex County, I believe it's their 2025 plan, I've forgotten the exact date on it. So my question is, has this been melded into the traffic plan that's supposed to include the whole town? If this project doesn't happen until 2025, will all of the development in the prior office buildings and the new residential developments be completed? Because I don't believe that's the case. Okay, if you can tell me, because of course I don't come to every meeting, I don't know what they're doing on the 2 office buildings, I don't know what they're doing with other half-open ones and all the other, building residential. I don't believe all the projects are done by the spring of 2025. And what exactly is the pre and post comparison tool that's going to be used to determine that this project was a success? In other words, you're saying this is an intervention to address a problem. So can you delineate to the public how you've determined what the pre and the post is? Because if it's the 2018 study, that's pre-pandemic and irrelevant, useless data. The other thing that I'm a little puzzled at is what Mike was asking about. Boswell hand-delivered excuse me, a letter to residents, which I just need to have clarified. They make reference to work being done at 22, 28, and 34. What exactly is being done at 22, 28, and 34? What is being replaced and where? What's being installed and where? I don't know if you guys have this letter. Okay, I do. Where exactly are these spot curbs? I think what Mike was referring to are the driveway aprons. Whose driveway aprons are being repaired or replaced? Because, did you do yours?
Yeah.
ADA curb ramps where? What signs are being referred to and what are the incidentals? And specifically, what address? I have a map, but it doesn't, with an arrow on it. Specifically, what addresses are these speed impediments going to be at? A suggestion, I'm all about don't complain without a suggestion. But when I see people walking down Lincoln Street on the east side that I live on, in the street, walking their dog, it begs the question, why are we not sidewalking the east side of the street? I realize I'm spending money, I do, but I would rather spend money on a sidewalk so people walk on a sidewalk than on speed impediments, okay? Because I've seen the school buses angle, which is illegal. I'm aware the children cross the street. I get courtesy busing, I get the cost. But if you have sidewalks that people can walk to common bus stops on either side and not force the children to cross, you can't force them to cross on county streets. okay? And we have just about as much traffic on Lincoln as some of the county streets. So there are two suggestions, you know, in terms of looking at things that may also improve the quality of life for the residents on the street as well as safety. So if somebody could answer all those questions, I really appreciate it, because as Mike said, this just feels wrong that things were planned and then they were like, oh, does everybody agree on this? And let's have an email vote. And last I knew, everybody gets to vote, not the House. I didn't see the House proposal in November. So anyway, you know, it begs the question when you were going to have a vote. Licensed to the house number? A voter registration? In other words, how did you determine who was supposed to be in this vote?
Anything further?
No, that was kind of a long list. I do
So
apologize.
there's a lot to unpack from this. Some of the information we may have here at our fingertips, some we may not, of course. As for the contract for paving, the paving contracts go out just for the paving of the streets a year ahead of time. We just were awarded for 3 streets that are gonna be done next year. So whether or not the speed tables are going to go is not a definite based on the contract. The contract is just for paving. Speed tables can or cannot be applied. They are not a definite as part of the contract. We just did 3 streets where about a year and a half behind between grant money and what we decide what street's gonna be done.
What is the purpose of the trees being taken down?
And I don't know what trees were taken down. It wasn't,
Across the street from me.
I'm not sure if it was as a matter of the arborist with dead trees that are ours or part of the paving
Well,
contract.
when I asked the gentleman, because he's blocking my driveway, and he goes, am I blocking you again if you're going out? I said, I don't think so. And he said, because of the sidewalk being, so, I mean, the letter, do you all have the letter from Boswell? In other words, it
The
leads,
bid was awarded.
so, say it again?
The bid for the paving of the streets was awarded.
Mhm.
They are doing the prep work now. They're doing the sidewalks and removing the trees and doing the prep work and then coming back in the spring to actually pave.
Well, that's the question.
So what I'm trying to understand is what, I'm sorry, what I'm trying to understand is what does fixing
did on my
sidewalks
street.
and taking trees have to do with paving the street?
They took 2
They-
trees
well, they
from my
didn't-
lot
right.
when they paved, before they paved, they had, because of the root, when they go to, it had to do with the roots of the trees
Oh.
that were in the street,
In
and
the
then they had to
street.
dig,
Gotcha.
so they had to actually get rid of, I think we got rid of 2 trees before the paving, yes,
I mean, I don't remember them removing
because they're
trees.
so, it was so close, and when they had to go in, they had to remove 2 trees from my street before they paved.
And they're
Last
fixing
year.
their curbing,
Yeah,
getting
the
everything
curbing.
back in before, and then paving will happen in the spring.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's the concern, that people are, things are being done that previously residents had to take on their costs.
Okay, will, as for the RFP or RFQ, we can get you that information.
I can get you those.
Okay.
dates.
As along with the vendors that responded for the paving, Boswell, and correct me if I'm wrong, does not do the paving. They're the engineers. A separate contractor comes in to pave.
No, I'm not worried about the paving. The paving, I understand. The paving theoretically should be separate.
Mhm.
What I'm asking is, for these speed impediments, has an RFP been let? Has a contract been let?
The
Or
con,
awarded?
the whole contract went with the option of the speed tables in it. They're not definitive. They're not, the speed tables are not going in regardless of the contract. It's an option that we can either invoke or not invoke. So they're not,
The RFP included is an option.
correct, but they do not have to be installed. The street is going to be paved, but the speed tables were left open based on what was decided.
Okay, so it was included in the RFP.
Correct,
So it was awarded and bid on.
yes. The information about the first responders, bus, et cetera, I will check with the engineer. I don't anticipate that that's an issue because of the same speed tables that are being employed in other places. And if they're not an issue for the first responders and the buses at those locations, I would not think they'd be an issue on that street either. The master plan questions, I'd have to speak to the planning board, as they're the one who devised the master plan. Anticipated completion, we will get dates for you. The pre-post will get dates for you. The addresses that you mentioned, 22, 20, and 34, I assume you meant houses on Lincoln Street? Those,
Correct, they make reference, Boswell makes reference that they were doing work in 22. So it gives you the impression they're doing prep work for the speed tables. So it kind of makes you presume that the speed table decision was almost a fait accompli before there was any of this bizarre email voting.
But we'll find out from
So the timing appears a little off,
the
questionable.
the aprons. We'll talk to an ADA compliant signs and incidental that you mentioned. We'll talk to Boswell as well as the potential sidewalk.
And has residents involved?
Well, the rest of, when we pass the ordinance that the paving is being done, that's our mechanism for informing the town through an open meeting.
Asking about paving. I don't think Mike and I are here about paving. We are here about the speed impediments. And what I'm saying to you is, there was 3 years ago roughly, a meeting of Lincoln Street residents, when at the time we asked to have updated data. And because it was post-COVID, and we can certainly say that a lot of what goes on now is different because it's, we're missing office buildings, we're missing, and we're going to have an increase in residential, and we can all say that the contractors and proposals all said it's gonna be this, that, and the other, but that doesn't mean that that's what NOAC and West Essex is gonna say once they're all built. So, that's the question of, was it specifically stated that this was being included in other words, as an option? It just appears that the meeting was with the residents in 2018. We asked to have an updated study done. It wasn't.
In 19, you mean?
2019, yeah, right.
I think Brightview Engineering did a study.
2019, because the study that was done in 2019, it specifically says the traffic exceeds 3,000 on the street and therefore is not appropriate for speed tables. I'm sorry, speed bumps. We asked, it's 2024, you're going off 6-year-old data. And that's when we asked. And then there was another meeting just recently, but again, everything went out in email format. And well, I'm older and very, techno. Not everybody on the street is. Not everybody feels comfortable coming to public meetings, but it doesn't seem to include even the neighbors who may be impacted, like, and I get screwed up, Maple, what are the other two? Maple and,
Parallel to
yeah,
Cortland, Roosevelt,
Portland's behind us, and what's,
Roosevelt?
Davenport?
Park.
Davenport or whatever. The presumption is we're gonna decrease the traffic on Lincoln. Sure didn't work that way the last time, and I've been here longer than him, I've been here 39 years. I wasn't in favor of him the first go-round. He won, I lost. I won the fight because, oh my God, what was her name? Marla Regan did the work, and that's how we got them out. They weren't in, I don't think they were in a year. They weren't, it was a catastrophe. It was a catastrophe.
We will try to,
And I'm like, I feel like we're in the middle of deja vu again, but, because you have young families who think it was a young family once upon a time. It is, it's like deja vu. Young families moved on the street, oh my God, we all wanted safe. I raised 3 kids on this street. I had a dog hit by the car. The dog brushed off. I was a stupid new dog owner. It didn't work. So why are
They had dog hit by a car on Eagle Rock. I mean, all the streets around us are very busy. What are we gonna put speed tables on every street? I
No.
mean, I understand the concern, please, I understand the concern of the residents. And I'm with them, but I don't think speed tables are the answer.
understand.
I do definitely think a sidewalk on the east side. People wouldn't be walking dogs in the middle of the street. Kids wouldn't be walking down the side, in the street. People wouldn't be wouldn't be in the street. I see people. It just boggles the mind. And
Right, Maureen, if we don't have, your job has a transfer for the questions, we can make sure we get the
Yeah.
questions answered in order that they were presented. Any other member of the public wishing to be heard, come forward, state your name and address for the record. If you're with us via Zoom, use the raise your hand icon. If you're with us telephonically, press *9. Hearing and seeing none, we have a presentation. We have swearing in of our new honorary mayor, Adriana Frangos. Did I pronounce it right?
In there.
No, sorry.
That's right there, right on.
Doesn't you have to pick somebody to have fun?
Oh, so you ready to pick somebody? I said mom, dad, or I said sister real loud. I think she's no sister. State your name. You solemnly swear that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of honorary mayor of the Borough of Roseland to the best of my ability, and that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people. Congratulations. Wait. So, the last honorary mayor was Adam Trillo. Councilman Trillo's son. He couldn't be here. He normally swears you in, so I had to do it. That's why I didn't have my notes with me. But you get to do a lot of fun stuff. Are you coming to Santa Clara? So you get to help Santa light the Christmas tree. You walk the Easter bunny out. You walk in the parade for Memorial Day. And Santa's coming in a very special way this year. None like we've ever seen before. So you'll get to be the first person to meet him. So one of the first people to meet him when he comes off. You'll walk him across the street with the elves, and you'll go up and help him light the tree. And there's a bunch of other duties you have to do. Think you're okay with that? Actually, you know what? You sit here.
Oh, wow.
Hold on.
What do you want us to do? No.
you want to add?
Say more speed tables.
The mayor.
Have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much.
Bye, Mayor.
Bye, thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh.
The mayor in charge of your house, remember that. I know only well.
Report three.
Okay, next we have introduction of ordinances, 39-2024.
Ready?
Hold on a second. Here. Yes. Mr. Watkins, please read the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance amending Chapter 2 of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Roseland entitled Administration, Section 2-65 entitled Payment of Claims.
Is there a motion to introduce ordinance 39-2024?
So moved.
Second.
Barty, Parati, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none.
Ordinance number 39-2024 will be posted on the borough's website. Notice of public hearing will be published in the progress. Public hearing will be held on Tuesday, December 17th, 2024.
Next on the agenda is the introduction of ordinance 40-2024. Mr. Watkins, please read the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 10 of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Roseland entitled Building and Housing to amend various fees.
Is there a motion to introduce ordinance 40-2024?
So moved.
Second.
Goldstein, Parati, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none.
Ordinance number 40-2024 will be posted on the borough's website. Notice of public hearing will be published in the progress. Public hearing will be held on Tuesday, December 17th, 2024.
Next on the agenda is ordinance 41-2024. Mr. Watkins, please read the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance of the Borough of Roseland establishing salaries for the mayor and council of the Borough of Roseland.
Is there a motion to introduce ordinance 41-2024?
So moved.
Second.
Barty, Goldstein, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing and seeing none.
Ordinance number 41-2024 will be posted on the borough's website. Notice of public hearing will be published in the progress. Public hearing will be held on Tuesday, December 17th, 2024.
Next is the introduction of ordinance 42-2024. Mr. Watkins, please read the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance amending section 14-4 of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Roseland entitled Use of Outdoor Facilities to amend fees.
Is there a motion to introduce ordinance 42-2024?
Yes, motion.
Second.
Parati, Goldstein, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none.
Ordinance number 42-2024 will be posted on the borough's website. Notice of public hearing will be published in the progress. Public hearing will be held on Tuesday, December 17th, 2024.
Thank you, Mr. Watkins. Next on the agenda is an introduction, of ordinance 43-2024.
Ordinance of the Borough of Roseland in the County of Essex, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing the Borough Code to amend Chapter 2, Administration, Section 24-10, Outside Employment of Police Officers.
Is there a motion to introduce ordinance 43-2024?
So moved.
Second.
Barty, Goldstein, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing and seeing none.
Ordinance number 43-2024 will be posted on the borough's website. Notice of public hearing will be published in the progress. Public hearing will be held on Tuesday, December 17th, 2024.
Thank you. Next is an introduction of ordinance 44-2024. Mr. Watkins, please read the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance of the Borough of Roseland to repeal ordinance number 19-2023 as amended, which provided for salaries and compensation to be paid to non-union employees of the Borough of Roseland, and substitute therefore salaries and compensation for the year 2024.
Is Is there a motion to introduce ordinance 44-2024?
So moved.
Second.
Parati, Barty, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing and seeing none.
Ordinance number 44-2024 will be posted on the borough's website. Notice of public hearing will be published in the progress. Public hearing will be held on Tuesday, December 17th, 2024.
Thank you, Mr. Watkins. The next two public hearing ordinances, 17-2024 and 28-2024, are being pulled.
Well, 20.
Sorry, excuse me. 17-2024 is being pulled, being pulled for next meeting, and 28-2024 is going to be hearing on December 17th. Next public hearing is ordinance 29-2024. Mr. Watkins, please read the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance amending Chapter 30 of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Roseland entitled Land Development, Article 4, Section 30-403.21 entitled Driveways, and Article 5, Section 30-508.1 entitled Design of Driveways.
Is there a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance 29-2024?
So
Second.
Parati, Barty, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing and seeing none. Does anyone wish to be heard on ordinance 29-2024? Hearing and seeing none, may I have a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 29-2024?
So moved.
Second.
Barty, Goldstein, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing and seeing none, Mr. Watkins, please read the ordinance by title.
An ordinance amending Chapter 30 of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Roseland entitled Land Development, Article 4, Section 30-403.21 entitled Driveways, and Article 5, Section 30-508.1 entitled Design of Driveways.
Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 29-2024?
So moved.
second.
Roll call vote, please, Mr.
Mr. Barty?
Yes.
Goldstein?
Yes.
Mrs. Parati?
Yes.
Ordinance 29-2024 will be advertised in the progress as a passed ordinance and shall take effect as provided by law.
Thank you, Mr. Watkins. Next on the agenda is a public hearing on ordinance 36-2024. Mr. Watkins, please read the ordinance by title only.
35 or
Yeah.
Oh, I pulled two pages. Public hearing on ordinance 35-2024. Mr. Watkins, please read the ordinance by title only.
an ordinance to amend, excuse me, the revised general ordinance of the Borough of Roseland, Chapter 17 entitled Water and Sewer, Article 2 entitled Service, Section 17-8.1 entitled Rates.
Is there a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance 35-2024?
So moved.
Seconded.
Barty, Goldstein, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, does anyone wish to be heard on ordinance 35-2024?
Somebody's phone is here.
It's mine. Thank you.
Should I,
I didn't,
should I swear on the Bible?
I didn't want to interrupt him. Thank you.
Wait, let's go, 20-meter court. I just want to understand something when I read it. It says commodity rate for water and sewer charge. So you combine a single charge. In other words, is there still the same charge for sewer? That's not changing?
Yes, no, there's also charges.
All right, in other words, it's still the $100. That's
That hasn't changed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the meter, yeah.
This ordinance. Yeah, this is a result of a study. We had the water engineer do a study, neighboring towns on our water rates to see if we were equitable, and we found that we were below market, so we put some adjustments in over time. So we're not doing it all at once. It's a little bit by little, just so we can be at market. Just to be fair, because we have to buy the water, right? We pay.
No, I know.
Money. It's
That's expels.
Yeah.
Some wells in our town, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just, basically, but we're not losing money on water, are we?
we're not making money either.
But I'm just saying.
It's
If you compare from what I saw from what the difference that used to be between what Essex Fells charged us and what we charged, that number has shrunken greatly. So it must be minute compared to what it was.
that's what triggered the study. That was
Just wonder why we're raising the water rates. What's the reason?
especially after the drought, or we're still in the drought, basically, or whatever. Okay, just couldn't see, I was wondering, like, it always got me, why is everybody $100, even the big buildings or something with the sewer charge? Why don't they pay
It's a
more?
meter fee, it's not a sewer charge.
Yeah, just the sewer charge.
It's a, but we changed our ordinance years ago, so it's a meter fee, that's what the $100 is a quarter, and then it's a step rate for the usage.
So,
So.
but I understand what he's saying, a big building
Right.
could possibly offset it by
Yeah,
paying more.
You know,
We
I mean,
have
if you have an
We
apartment,
have no separate sewer charge, so it's just, that's all made up with the consumption, the more you use, the more you pay.
I understand, I completely understand what you're saying.
you know, you have an apartment, right? There's 10 people in there, and I understand, even if you had 10 separate water meters in there, and the sewer's the same, it's $100. That seems a little odd to me, that's all.
No, it's something we'll look into. It
They're
makes a good
using
point.
more with the sewer than anybody else. Can I ask, the projects that are being built, these new projects, especially Becker Farm Road, is there one water meter for that whole building, or does everybody have a separate water meter?
Separate.
We made sure
In
that
other words,
every
every apartment there,
single one is gonna have a separate, so
Is
they're gonna have to
that-
pay separate.
and is that for all of them?
Yes.
It should be, okay, just check it, yeah, it's better for the town anyway.
And they all, and the developer or contractor has to also, which we changed a couple years ago to make sure, they have to pay a connection fee for each and every apartment.
And also then, I presume, they have to pay the $100 for the sewer.
The meter fee.
Yeah, Yeah, but yeah.
Whatever you want to call it, I'm just
Per
trying to say.
meter, per each, per
So
meter.
every one of the, we'll say 400 apartments has to pay that $100.
Yes, correct.
Per meter, for every
Meter
meter,
fee.
every single meter, correct.
Okay.
And they're all having their own meters.
I'm thinking, basically, they're paying way more, we should be getting way more,
But we're not able to
but that
realize
only
that
goes
yet.
into the water
But once
department.
we realize that, then we can absorb it or offset it to other places. But we can't realize that until they're in there
Yeah,
and
no,
they're
I
actually using the
understand,
water.
I'm just,
Trust me, we want that money coming in more than we
no, I
realize.
mean, basically,
We're
I
waiting
just want
patiently.
to say, because it's a good idea, everybody should be paying separate, basically, like I said, it's a 10 apartments, they're paying just one fee, where now all those apartments, and that goes for everything that's gonna be built here, I presume, which is better for the residents on the long run. Thank you, answered the questions.
Does anyone else wish to be heard on ordinance 35-2020? If not, may I have a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 35-20?
So moved.
Second.
Party, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Mr. Watkins, please read the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance to amend the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Roseland, Chapter 17 entitled Water and Sewer, Article 2 entitled Service, Section 17-8.1 entitled Rates.
Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 35-2020?
So moved.
Second.
Goldstein, Barty, all in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, roll call vote. Anybody else want?
Mr. Barty,
Yes.
Mr. Goldstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Parati.
Yes.
Ordinance number 35-2024 will be advertised in the progress as a passed ordinance, shall take effect as provided by law.
Next on the agenda is a public hearing on ordinance 36-2024. Mr. Watkins, please read the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance of the Borough of Roseland, the County of Essex, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing the Borough Code to include a new Chapter 25, clothing bins, to regulate the placement and use of charitable clothing bins.
Is there a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance 36-2024?
So moved.
Second.
Parati, Barty, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing and seeing none. Then I wish to be heard on ordinance 36-2024. Hearing and seeing none, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Barty, Goldstein, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Mr. Watkins, please read the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance of the Borough of Roseland and the County of Essex, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing the Borough Code to include a new Chapter 25, clothing bins, to regulate the placement and use of charitable clothing bins.
Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 36-2024?
So moved.
Second.
Barty, Goldstein, roll call vote, please, Mr. Watkins.
Mr. Barty,
Yes.
Mr. Goldstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Parati?
Yes.
Ordinance number 36-2024 will be advertised in the progress as a passed ordinance, shall take effect as provided by law.
Thank you, Mr. Watkins. Next, we have a public hearing on ordinance 37-2024. Mr. Watkins, please read the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance to amend the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Roseland, Chapter 7 entitled Traffic, Section 7-14 entitled Parking Prohibited at all times on certain streets, to prohibit parking on a portion of First Avenue on a portion of Steel Court.
Is there a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance 37-2024?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing and seeing none. Does anyone wish to be heard on ordinance 37-2024? Hearing and seeing none, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Parati, Goldstein, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, Mr. Watkins, please read the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance to amend the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Roseland, Chapter 7 entitled Traffic, Section 7-14 entitled Parking Prohibited at all times on certain streets, to prohibit parking on a portion of First Avenue on a portion of Steel Court.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Parati, roll call vote, please, Mr. Watkins.
Marty?
Yes.
Mr. Goldstein?
Yes.
Mrs. Parati?
Yes.
Ordinance number 37-2024 will be advertised in the progress as a passed ordinance, shall take effect as provided by law.
Thank you. Ordinance 38-2024 will be postponed until our next meeting. Next on our agenda is resolution 359-2024, approving the November 22nd bill list. Everyone received the bill list for questions, concerns, and/or recusals. If there are none, we'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Parati, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Next, resolution 360-2024 has to be postponed until our next meeting. I'd like to move resolutions 361 through 376-2024.
Other page.
377. We can't do the last.
I'm sorry, correct. 361-2024 through 377-2024 by resolution number, 2 through 18 by agenda number. Questions, concerns, recusals on those resolutions? If there are none, I'd like to move them in their entirety.
So moved.
Second.
Parati, Goldstein, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Just one on here, number 16, I want to thank the boosters for donating the portable basketball goal systems. All that money that they raise out there in the snack shack and the other events comes directly back into the community, as well as the AED units they bought. We'll have 3 AED units that'll be at all of our parks. All their hard work goes right back to our kids, so we thank them for all their efforts. Resolution 378 and 379. We spoke of an executive session. That's the police contracts. Just so the public is aware, the members of the governing body here are completely in favor of the police contract for the police officers. We just want to brief our other council members at the next meeting, which luckily is next Tuesday, so we can inform them, and we will move that next week. I just didn't want anyone to think we're skipping over. We're all in support of it. We're just going to have our council members here to explain the nuances, not so much the percentage raises, but some of the contract language. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda for training for technical assistance on December 4th for Heidi and Renee in our DPW. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. My report, I would just like to, first of all, wish everyone a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. Take the time with your families, make memories, enjoy the moments. As a parent of kids who are getting older, you realize the moments get, there's not as many tomorrows as yesterdays with the kids as being little. So I learned to appreciate it a little bit more. And then hope that we put a lot of work in this year, as we do every year, to Christmas celebration on December 6th.
Next Friday.
Yeah, it is next Friday already. We hope everyone comes out. Everyone has put a lot of work into this. Volunteers and members of the borough. We're also doing for sale that day, we'll be trying to do a town-wide luminary project. We are selling luminaries, or a civic association is selling luminaries, and then money the proceeds from that go directly into a fund that's going to assist Roseland residents in need throughout the year. So we hope people participate in that and come out on the 6th. I have nothing besides that. Anyone have anything from committees?
Yeah, I do. Just two things. First, I want to congratulate our officer Bell, who ran a marathon. He ran the Tunnels to Towers marathon. He did a great job. He's one of our new officers. He's also running in the UK to benefit underprivileged children, and he's going to run another marathon in Chicago to support the homeless. So we want to thank him for everything he's doing. Our fire department is going to participate in the Totowa and West Patterson Fire Department Holiday Parade, and I think we won first place last
I
year.
was going to say, but I want to jinx them.
So I know I don't want to jinx them, but I want to wish them good luck. And I just want to let everybody know. Maureen, did you go last year?
Yeah. I go every year.
Can you go this year to make sure we win?
Down the street from my house. I cheer the loudest for Rose.
Thank you. So I just wanted to let everybody know that they are participating on the 30th, Saturday. So I just want to let everybody know. Good luck to them.
Any other committee? Next on the agenda is our approval of minutes from our October 15th and November 4th council meeting. Everyone received the minutes. No questions or recusals. Take a motion to move the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Goldstein, Parati, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Next, we have our second round of public comment. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, come forward, state your name and address for the record. If you're with us via Zoom, use the raise your hand icon. If you're with us telephonically, press star 9.
John Mathias, Deputy Director, OEM Coordinator. I have an announcement to make tonight, which I believe will make fire signs just about done. Well, just to say the fire sirens are done.
When are
So-
they going off for the first
I
time?
just wanted to let the residents know and you that probably Sunday and Monday we'll be doing the final wiring part of it, so we may be testing them on Sunday and Monday, but then officially, we're gonna have to come up with a date to start using them.
The only thing I would ask is if we're going to test them this weekend, just make sure we let Ryan know, so he lets the community know what's
Right.
going on.
Right.
And of course, you'll let the police desk know when people start calling in case they missed the correspondence that this is what, is going on.
Right.
And then there are gonna be times, I think we discussed, that they're not gonna go off, like during the night and stuff like that, so we just want the community to know that
And-
it's gonna be during certain hours.
Right, in the past, it was usually 7 in the morning till 10 at night. Overnight, the only times that we would set them off would be if we had an actual fire and the fire officer arrived on the scene and seen that he had a working fire, and then he would set them off just to make sure we get all our volunteers there in case they didn't hear their pages go off.
Right.
But
Public safety.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
be the working fire time, and the fire chief would make that decision. That's
Great
it.
job.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, John. It's not fixed. Yeah, it's right up, yeah.
Any other member of the public wish to be heard? Hearing and seeing none, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Barney Parati, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none.
Opposed. For the record.
You don't want to,
You
you
know,
want to stay here, Neil?
It's probably gonna be our last meeting, so we'll keep it going as long as we can.
Could be here next week.
Maybe not, I'm not sure.
Everyone have a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
Enjoy with your
Thanksgiving,
family.
everyone. No, it's over this year. No, is it?
I drank just.